All right, let's dive right in. We're looking at a new research paper today, and honestly, this one is a big deal. It's about an AI that doesn't just crunch numbers. It actually thinks and acts like a real data scientist. It's called DeepAnalyze, and yeah, it could change, well, pretty much everything.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. Can an AI really be a data scientist? I mean, we're talking about a job that's all about creativity, intuition, and solving really messy, complex problems. That's the huge question, right? And it's exactly what this new tech is trying to answer.
So, to get why this is such a tough nut to crack, we've got to first break down what a data scientist's job even looks like, because trust me, it is way more than just writing a bit of code. It's a whole puzzle. The paper itself calls this a long-standing challenge, and that's putting it mildly. The idea of going from this messy pile of raw data all the way to a polished report full of insights, that's not just one step. It's a whole journey, and a pretty tricky one at that. And here's that journey laid out for us. You start with raw, messy data. Then comes the cleanup crew. After that, you get to the analysis. And this is the magic part. You have to find a real insight, that aha moment. Then you can finally build your report. You can see why automating this whole chain has been like the holy grail for a long, long time.
Now, this isn't the first time people have thrown AI at this problem. Not at all. But all the previous attempts, well, they were kind of like keeping an AI on a very short leash. Sure, it could do a few tricks, but it couldn't really run free and explore on its own. Let's talk about why that is. These older AIs are what the paper calls workflow-based agents. And the best way to think about them, imagine a cook who can only follow a recipe. Exactly, step by step. If everything is perfect, you get a good dish. But what happens if you throw in a surprise ingredient or ask them to improvise? Yeah, total disaster. They just can't do it. And this chart just lays it all out crystal clear. You've got your workflow agents over here stuck with a rigid plan. They can't adopt at all. Then you have the dream, the autonomous agent. This is the one that creates its own plan, that can think on its feet and tackle new stuff. The mission was obvious. It was time to cut that leash for good.
And that brings us to the hero of our story today. This new research, it does exactly that. It cuts the leash. So let's meet the star of the show, DeepAnalyze. And believe me, this is where things get really interesting.
The researchers call it the first agentic large language model designed for this. Now, that word agentic, that's everything. It means the AI has agency. It can act on its own, make its own decisions, and figure out how to reach a goal. We're not just talking about a slightly better tool here. This is a whole new ballgame, a totally different kind of AI.
And just look at the resume here. It can handle that entire data pipeline we talked about, end to end, check. It can answer super complex questions, check. Specialized analysis, no problem. Open-ended research, yup. And it spits out reports that are just as good as a human analyst's. It's the whole shebang. Okay, so you're probably wondering the same thing I was. How in the world did they do this? How do you actually teach an AI to think for itself? How do you go from follow the recipe to invent a new dish? Well, the answer is pretty brilliant. It's actually pretty simple, in a genius kind of way. They decided to teach the AI the same way we teach a person. This quote from the paper really is the secret sauce. They built a training curriculum that basically copies the career path of a human data scientist, starting from the very bottom.
And check this out. The AI literally has a career path. It starts out as an intern, just learning the basics, like answering simple questions. Then it gets promoted to a junior analyst, where it masters tougher, more specialized tasks. And finally, it becomes a senior analyst, where it can handle the whole end-to-end research project all by itself. It is literally learning on the job, just like a person would.
And where does it get its work experience? From the best place possible. Thousands of real-world data science projects. The paper uses a super technical term for it, a data-grounded trajectory synthesis framework, but what it really means is they fed the AI a giant library of successful projects done by expert humans. It learned by studying the best of the best. Okay, so the training idea is amazing, top-notch, but the real question is, did it actually work? Well, let's look at the results, because this is where you really start to see what an autonomous future for data science might look like. First up, this number, 8 billion.
That's the number of parameters in DeepAnalyze. Now, you might think that sounds huge, but in the world of AI, that is shockingly small and efficient. We're talking about a David-sized model going up against these massive Goliath models from the big tech companies, models with hundreds of billions of parameters. And here's the crazy part. Look at this chart. That little 8 billion parameter model, DeepAnalyze, just blows the older agents out of the water. And get this, it's beating agents that were running on those giant, expensive proprietary models. So it's not just a little bit better, it's way smarter and way more efficient. It's doing more with less.
But honestly, this next part might be the most important thing about this whole project. It's open source, the whole thing. The researchers didn't lock it away. They released the model, the code, the training data, everything, so that anybody can use it, learn from it, and build on top of it. That is a huge deal.
And by doing that, they're not just building a cool new tool for a few giant corporations. As they put it, they are paving the way toward autonomous data science for everybody. This is about democratizing this incredible technology, putting it in the hands of researchers and scientists everywhere.
So that leaves us with one last really big question to think about. We've basically just witnessed the birth of an AI that can be a real partner in research, an explorer that can venture into data and find new things all on its own. So with a tool this powerful, now available to everyone, what are we going to discover next?